Democracy doesn't collapse. It commits suicide. They told you voting was power. That was the first lie. Democracy, the only system that pays you in stagecraft while stealing the whole theater. Athens wrote the playbook. 399 BC. Crowds voted Socrates' death 338 BC. Those same crowds knelt to Philip. The oldest trick in the book. The more freedom they promise, the more chains they sell you. The pattern: the louder the mob cheers for freedom, the faster it runs toward chains. The feast: public coffers opened, free bread for all. The rot: productive citizens mocked as greedy. The fear: enemies, real or not, magnified. The savior: one voice promising to silence the chaos. The silence: first they come for the philosophers, then the shopkeepers, then anyone who remembers how it began. Weimar Germany, 1928, the most free society on earth. 1933, voted away its own constitution. 1934, celebrated its first concentration camp. When did never again become just this once? Democracy's greatest trick: making you complicit in your own enslavement. You demand safety. They take liberty. You beg for unity. They outlaw dissent. You vote for change. You get worse versions of the same. Plato offered philosopher-kings. We offer something simpler. Recognize the cycle. Reject the bargain. Build what they can't touch. It's not theory anymore. It's happening. Right now. The inflation no one can explain. The emergencies that never end. The elections where nothing ever changes. The question was never if democracy creates tyrants, but how many it breeds, before you notice. Athens took 150 years to fall. We collapse in 15 years. 2008, hope and change. 2016, burn it all down. 2024, just give us order. They don't need secret police anymore. They have algorithmic outrage machines, digital currencies with expiration dates, fact checkers deciding what truth is. When did we trade philosophers for influencers? Plato's academy lasted 900 years. Our institutions crumble in decades. Why? They built for truth. We build for likes. They trained thinkers. We manufacture activists. Want freedom? Start here. Economic independence, information discipline, community defense. Because when the next crisis hits, some will panic, some will profit, some will be ready. The tyrants aren't coming, they're already here. The only question left is, what will you? Every collapsing democracy has a moment when the people see the monster they made and welcome it with open arms. France, 1793. Liberty guillotined its children. Russia, 1917. Equality built mass graves. America, 2020s. Safety locked its own citizens indoors. The script never changes, only the costumes do. Civilizations don't die when they're weak. They die when they're bored, comfortable, distracted. Athenian baths became Netflix binges. Roman bread subsidies became stimulus checks. Weimar inflation became modern printing presses. When did maintenance become oppression? Plato's solution wasn't perfect, but his diagnosis was surgical. The distraction is the weapon. While you're locked in outrage, the real rulers, bureaucrats, bankers, permanent state operatives operate untouched. The crowd isn't fighting tyranny. It's fueling it. And revolution isn't the answer. Immunization is. Build what they can't censor. Own what they can't freeze. Learn what they can't teach. Watch for these signs. Financial weaponization, CBDCs, scores, control. Emergency powers that never expire. Language corruption, where peace means war and unity means silence. They won't take your freedom. They'll convince you to trade it for something shinier. Every dying democracy makes truth illegal. Socrates, corrupter of youth. Solzhenitsyn, mental patient. Modern dissidents, flagged, tracked, and silenced. The terms change. The machine doesn't. They don't burn books anymore. They shadow ban them. This time is different. The costliest lie in history. We're saving democracy. Every tyrant's favorite slogan. The experts know best. Tell that to the 20th century's death toll. Plato was wrong about rulers, but right about resistance. The examined life is the only defense. Financial sovereignty, resilient communities, ideas that can't be bought. Democracy doesn't die in darkness. It dies with the crowd cheering. Athens did it. Rome did it. Weimar did it. And we're sprinting through the same gates. The tragedy, the freer the society, the faster it runs toward chains. Because freedom is heavy and comfort is addictive. Most would rather kneel in comfort than stand in uncertainty. Watch closely. First come the promises, then the emergencies, then the exceptions, then the new normal, and the road to tyranny. It's not a cliff, it's a slope. They don't need to take your rights. They'll just convince you to hand them over. The voting booth? A confessional where you beg to be forgiven for having a voice. The politicians. Priests offering salvation through dependence. But what they fear is the one who stops playing. The man who steps off their board. The woman who builds what they can't own. The few who realize democracy's dirty secret. It was never about freedom. It was always about control. Control through participation. Control through division. Control through the illusion of choice. The collapse isn't coming. It's already here. The question isn't if you'll see it. It's whether you'll be ready when. Plato saw it first. No system survives the people it creates. Athens birthed philosophers, then murdered them. Rome built order, then drowned it in spectacle. Weimar danced, then burned. The cycle never fails. It just accelerates. And now? No guillotines, no brown shirts, just smiling bureaucrats and silent algorithms. No jackboots, just infinite scrolling, infinite outrage, infinite sedation. They don't ban truth. They bury it. They don't censor you. They flood your world with noise. They don't need to take your guns. They've already taken your attention. The collapse isn't televised. It's monetized. And when the final reckoning comes, they won't blame the tyrants. They'll blame the last free thinkers who refused to kneel. That's the lesson of history. Not that democracy fails, but that it must, because the crowd always picks comfort over clarity, chains over chaos. And by the time they realize the chains don't come off, it's already too late. But not for you. You see the pattern. You recognize the trap. You know what comes next. The question isn't whether democracy will fall. It's whether you'll be ready when it does. Will you be like the Athenians, begging for a savior as the walls collapse? Or like the philosophers, quietly preparing while the crowd still sleeps? The clock is ticking, the silence is breaking, and your choice is running out.